It says we are being live streamed, so I'm going to start talking as if we're actually being live streamed. Yeah, here we go. So, okay, I'll just dig in. I'll share my screen. And then after that, I'll spotlight you, Anna. And I see you've got two screens, right? So we can spotlight that other one later. Or you had to. Oh, yeah, there we are. Welcome, everybody. It's Friday night or Friday evening or Friday afternoon where you are. Maybe it's Saturday morning. Maybe it's super, super late Friday. Anyway, it's another Friday night workshop at Sequential Artists Workshop. We believe in comics. We are a nonprofit school. We have courses and things like that. You can find us at learn.sawcomics.org. We have lots of new courses coming up soon. We'll be announcing those in just a week or two, starting in like January and February. Next week, Mara Ramirez is here in the Friday night slot. Meanwhile, we think we want to tell you finally about Seesaw Comics. That's where a lot of our students are showing work, as well as some of our faculty. It's at seesawcomics.org, which you can see down there. And for instance, two of our students, Kim Laurenti, Susan Marks, updated this week with really great work. Some of our faculty is showing work there. And it's a place where we're trying to make a little bit of a buzz and sort of drag people away from algorithms and just come on over and see what's happening. Anyway, thank you. And SAW survives from tuitions and donations. Thank you very much for donating. If you donated to tonight's workshop, it's a huge help. It helps keep these free. It helps us pay the artists. And there are lots of other ways to support us. You can go to these two URLs, which I'll put in the chat. You can become a monthly sustaining member. You can buy a t-shirt, which is a cool t-shirt. Yeah. Member donation. Yeah, you can do it. End of the year, tax deductible. Anyway, let's start. Please, no inappropriate speech or imagery, no trolling or hate speech, explicit, etc. Thank you. Please keep it PG-13. Last week, our host didn't keep it PG-13. Or was that 2 weeks ago? Anyway, it was okay. It was Emily Flake. She's another Baltimore person, so you know how
she was in Baltimore. I'm a huge fan.
She went to school there, and she might even be from there, but she's been in New York for 20 years.
Yeah, right. I was about to say.
We think of her as a Baltimore person, Baltimore potty mouth.
Yeah.
Anyway, so tonight, share on social media, Friday Night Comics, hashtag Friday Night Comics. You can tag us at Comics Workshop. Join us at members.sawcomics.org. You can share work there too and get lots of eyes on it and camaraderie and enjoy. And this is Anna Sellheim, the Chaos Bombs, a fourth, I think.
Yes.
Stop sharing. I think this is your fourth Friday. Yeah. Oh my God, I didn't. And look at that. Forgot to undo that. Anyway, Anna, this is your fourth Friday night comic? I don't remember.
I think so, yeah. Yeah.
Or maybe it's your third. Anyway, it's definitely at least your third. And I'm so happy to have you. I'm going to spotlight you, and then you can tell us all about making comics with kids, about kids. I don't know.
It's about kids. So hi, everybody. Okay. I am immediately sharing my screen so that I don't have to look at myself. So give me one moment.
Oh, that's how people are.
That's exactly what I want. All right. We got it, baby.
Oh, now we see your file management system.
That's exactly. Can I get this in a gallery?
If you select them all and open them in preview, you should be able to.
I'm sorry, say that again.
Select them all.
And hey, that was really weird. Yeah. I don't know why. There we go. View. File. Where is the gallery for this? Gallery. Here we go. Perfecto. That isn't a gallery like I thought it would be.
Can you select them all and open them in preview?
Oh, right. That would make more.
That's what I do.
Yes, that would make more sense. I haven't done this in a second. Sorry.
Oh, look at that. There's a preview.
Yes. And
Julie, do you say?
So where would I
don't know. Just double click it. See what happens. Or you could drag it. Yeah, that should work actually.
Nope, that's all out of order. All right.
It's all what?
It's all out of order, but we're gonna,
Oh yeah,
yeah, so
is it opening?
it opened, but it did it as
We're only looking. I think it's not too late to like control click and open on in preview.
okay. Well, if I control it, I want to open 28 items, but then it worked this time. Okay, cool.
We're not seeing it. We're only seeing that window.
Oh, I am stop share and then share screen and then the whole deal. Got it.
Yeah.
Share. Okay.
There we go.
It's working. All right. Sorry about that.
No
And I don't know how to get rid of any of that. But you can see it. Very sorry, guys. Hello. I'm Anna Sellheim, and welcome to this workshop, which is making comics about kids. And we're making comics about children, teenagers, anyone under 18. So, oh, you're not going to let me scroll. Okay. So my name is Anna Sellheim. I'm a cartoonist and illustrative artist based in Baltimore City. I do mostly autobiographical work, but occasionally I do fiction and I draw a lot of naked ladies. So this is where you can find me. You can go to my website and read a lot of my work for free. And if you go to my social media, you'll find some of the comics I make about the kids I work with. So I work with the Refugee Youth Project, also known as RYP. Baltimore is a sanctuary city. So RYP delivers services to Baltimore's refugee population. My primary duty at RYP is being an art teacher, but I also do things like help students with homework, help them apply to college, write essays, and help run the coat drive, along with a bunch of other stuff. People assume my job is all about helping students that are consumed with trauma, but most of my conversations, 10% of them are about talking about horrible experiences they went through to get in the US. And then the other 90% of conversations are about, Miss Anna, I can't do art today. Why? Because a boy she doesn't like is in love with her. And then he just like 3 more of your posts. No. So yeah, like I think that so I work with these, excuse me. Sorry about that. I do have notes. So the project we made together that they were complaining about previously over the summer is the RYP zine. It is an anthology of art and writing by my students. Here are some of the pages. My primary objective with this zine was to make sure that my students chose what they wanted to contribute and they got to speak for themselves. Many organizations working with refugees speak on their behalf and let them speak, but just distill them down to their harrowing experiences coming to the US. And my students, like all kids, are individuals with their own stories and passions. And so that's going to be a big thing about the comics we make tonight, is making sure we portray the youth that we are making comics about as individuals and not as like a stand-in child for the story. So yeah, some of my students talk about their trauma, but also like Gaga on the left wanted to be a fashion designer, or wants to be a fashion designer, so she made a bunch of dresses. And on the right, Nura wrote a poem, a breakup song. Now, did he break up with anybody this year? No, he's never had a girlfriend. Does that matter? No, we let him live his life and he gets to contribute that. And just so you know, you can buy the RYP zine in my store, and all proceeds go towards reprints of the zine and food for the students. That's enough of the plugs. So, not only do I help students write about or make art themselves and make comics themselves, I also work with these kids a lot. So I do occasionally draw comics about them. And I have some hard, fast rules that I use when making comics about my youth, the students that I teach. And some of those, I'm going to ask you guys to follow that tonight. They may be different from your normal comic practices. but I have good reasons for them. So, okay. One is, as I said previously, we are going to be writing comics about kids and as individuals. We are not putting in a child and then using that as a generic child to talk about anything else in a story. So this is Daryl Sheik. Actually, what is it? Chick? I never know how to pronounce it. Thank you. So she is coming out with this cool zine about interviewing a girl that's obsessed with unicorns. And I really like this comic because this is this girl's answer to her questions. Like, there is no other child that is giving this answer. Is a child real? It doesn't matter. It makes the zine more charming that it's about this individual child. I do think the child is real, though. So this leads us to rule number 2, which is we are here to celebrate children. We're not here to rag on them. I think a lot of media, I understand people not liking kids, and I understand they're frustrating, they can be annoying. Like, some of them are legitimately awful to deal with, and I am totally fine with you ranting about that to me on any given day. But there's so much media that is just so negative towards kids and teenagers. And so I'm going to ask you to like celebrate either the real or fictional children in your life, and uplift them versus like drag them down. So yeah, this is literally, High and Lois is like the worst. I'm going to rant about High and Lois. Oh my God, you don't understand. So, but like literally, like, High is hated by everyone in his family, and everyone in his family is awful. But yeah, so this is just, there's literally talking about how awful all of the children are, which is so much of the humor. Like, More Walker Studios, man, they're doing some stuff. Okay, so this is like a great example. I like this strip a lot. This is a great example of a cartoonist using her family as plot devices or like as material for her comic. Like, her child is misbehaving, but also they're all kind of amused by it because he had good rationale, right? Like, you can always make kind of a humorous standpoint from it. So this is like, if you're portraying a kid misbehaving, this is kind of what I'm looking for, is like not anger, but like something more positive. So the second rule, now I get a little sensitive about this because I work with underage refugees and they're not my children, but for tonight, you're following my rule, which is you're going to keep your child anonymous by changing their appearance and not naming them. Or if you share your work publicly, you are going to explicitly ask their permission before posting it anywhere. Okay? What is this idiot's name? Henry. It's a Dennis the Menace, Hank Ketchum, and the creator of Dennis the Menace and his son, Dennis Ketchum, the titular Dennis. And because he didn't respect his child and his boundaries, they ended up being estranged at the end of their life.
Oh, no.
No, yeah. Like, this is a whole, I can go on a rant on this too. But and Dennis ended up having a really hard life, and this was a big reason why. And he said that he wished that like his mistakes and foibles as a child weren't used as material, and he wished his dad had been there more for him in real life as opposed to his fictional counterpart. So yeah, again, might be weird to you, but for tonight, if you end up sharing your comic, ask the kid you're going to be drawing about first, or just fictionalize them. Okay. This is another rule we have, which is we are not going to be trivializing hard stuff that kids are going through or teenagers are going through just because they're not living up to our standards, or like, Gen Z is doing X, Y, Z. That is not the place tonight for this this particular comic. For example, Zitz is all about teenagers and hates teenagers more than anything. And so this is like Jeremy, who's the main character, I don't know if it's main. He's a main teenager in it. He is so depressed because he's fighting with his girlfriend that he doesn't want to do basic hygiene or study. And then the whole arc is dealt with like, LOL, boys are so smelly and stupid. And like, you gotta go apologize to your girlfriend. So I'm looking more again for the uplifting of, you know, children and teenagers versus just ragging on them because they're inconvenient. And obviously, as she is good with all things, Linda Berry does a great job giving empathetic and kind renditions of children. So in this comic, Maybony is, I also don't know how to pronounce her name.
Maybone.
Maybone, thank you. I've never seen that name outside of this comic. So Maybone does weird things in this comic, like she'll play sad music and then she'll stare in the mirror and see what it looks like when she cries. Or like she'll just lift up her shirt and stare at her bra. But like it's done as this is totally strange stuff, but it's also strange stuff that most teenage girls, if not all of them, do at some point when they're just like figuring out who they are. So yeah, again, empathy and kindness in whatever you're working with today is appreciated. Okay, then this is another rule, is that even though we want to be empathetic and kind, we do not want to be insipid or saccharine. So there's a couple ways you can get around this. Obviously, the generic, the go-to answer for saccharine insipid comics is Family Circus. There are actually some good Family Circuses, but this is nothing. This is nothing. So one of the ways that you can do like a sweet moment is making it like unique and individual. So you actually can't read that. I thought it'd be bigger.
Can you zoom in?
Can I?
I bet you can. Like command plus. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. Scan's so bad though. But yeah. So this is a family. The book actually gets really dark, but this moment is very cute, where like the father and the son go and sneak off to play with cameras while the dad pretends he's working, to the irritation of the mother. But that is a cute, sweet moment because it's like grounded and it's unique and it's not just, and it's about their particular family. Even if you create something fictional, you need to have some idea of who these characters are so that you can have a sweet moment that's kind of unique and just feels more genuine versus Family Circus. Okay, so I feel like I can't. Oh, this is perfect. Okay, you can also go another route, and I'm going to use Linda Berry again because she's the best. But if you are doing a moment you've had with a real child, you do not need to just limit yourself to reality. This was probably a very cute interaction where she's playing a game with a group of children where she stole a car, and so they send her to jail to be eaten by lava monsters. But the way it's drawn, it's like, look at that top right panel. Like that's, you know what I mean? It's intense. Like you don't have to be grounded in reality. You can go into, you don't have to be tethered solely to reality when making this comic. And so, yeah, that's just the rules again are be kind, ask permission, you know. We're here to celebrate children, not drag them down. They get enough of that already. And ask permission before they post or make them anonymous. And those are the hard and fast rules. Now and you don't have to do this, but I am doing this. I have been re-lettering a book for a year and a half, and it was supposed to come out in the spring, and then the publisher folded. So in order to cope with that, started drawing directly on paper without any underdrawing or any thumbnailing, any underdrawing, and it ends up looking a bit like 365. Like I definitely had that in mind by Julie Deshay. I'm not saying you have to do this. I'm saying I am doing this where I'm not caring about spelling. I'm not caring about paneling. I'm just going straight to paper with ink. And but yeah, that part is completely optional. So yeah, I don't know what's next, Tom. It's just the drawing, I guess.
Well, I think here I'll I think we could use some prompts as to how to think about child experiences to tell stories about, right?
Okay.
And maybe it's a good time because you know, a lot of us have had first of all, you know, maybe there are kids in our lives that we're already thinking about, but if not, maybe we had a Thanksgiving experience where there's some kids around, and if not, then maybe we need to do a couple of thought, some like thinking about like where would we run into kids, the mall, the playground, you know. So
Yeah.
maybe maybe like 3 minutes of just listing, and then you could tell us, you can give us some examples where, and you and I can do it live too. Maybe
Okay.
like 4 minutes where people come up with like a list of like 5 or 6 possible kid experiences they could draw about, and then we could start.
Okay. Yeah, that works.
Not like
That's
your
great.
other,
Yeah, how do I do this? Oh,
and then
okay.
whoa, it's all shadowy. That's pretty cool. And then like we could each list some kid experiences that are worth making comics about. Like, I've got a 10-year-old daughter, and I'm always fighting with her about screens, so I can't do a comic about that, and I don't want to anyway.
Yeah, that's definitely old news.
I know, right? Let me think if some other experiences like
Is my camera still on? Oh, it's right there. What am I doing? Nothing.
yeah,
Never
we can
mind.
see your paper. Yeah, it's
Don't
good.
look at me. So
So
yeah,
maybe
so like live getting some ideas.
yeah, let's
Um,
all write down 5 ideas.
okay. Let me find a pen.
And maybe you can think about, maybe one thing is like think about cousins or siblings
Yeah.
when you were a kid.
So
I'll write some things down.
nieces. Oh wow, writing is going to be really weird at this angle. That's fine. Okay. Oop. Nieces.
Sarah in the chat says, I'm thinking about the things I used to draw as a kid and comparing it to the things I draw now.
Oh, that's an awesome idea. Yeah.
Nancy says, I'm going to write this down too. Child interacting with a pet. Kids,
Oh, I love that.
kids
Yeah,
and pet.
yeah, that's another one.
Nancy says, kids doing something dangerous. That's terrific too.
Yeah.
Uh,
I like the pet one. Um,
yeah, and feel free to do what people are doing, which is put some ideas in the chat. And that's a great way to sort of keep everybody coming up with ideas.
my goodness. I mean, besides, like, I have so many ideas from school. Like, I work there. Teens.
Did you run into in a neighborhood who have to show you all their tricks? Like, look what I can do. That's a great one. 2 kids. Nancy's got a lot of great ideas today. Nancy says 2 kids interacting, one helping the other.
Oh yeah. Well, teenagers. I do this a lot. I overhear teenagers like having conversations, or like a lot on the bus, or yeah, I don't know. I may be one of the few people that doesn't find groups of teenagers intimidating, but like they can be a real trip. So you also have young people working in customer service.
Oh,
Well, that's a big one for me because I usually uh okay, let's say this PC, nag the manager about letting people tip with a credit card if they don't allow that at various places. And so I often have conversations with some of the cashiers before asking the manager so that I can yell to them. And it worked once. I got one place to start adding credit card tips, which is great. But otherwise it's usually just big chains that don't care. Let's
true.
uh yeah, maybe I I don't even know. Oh, you can't even see it. Okay.
Cool. That's probably enough to get people going. So we've got your list there. I've got a list I compiled
Nice.
in the chat that I'm gonna post again. And from there, seems like we can all sort of try and do a 1-page 4-panel or no panels, as you said with Julie Doucet.
Yeah, I don't have a panel restriction on this one versus some of the other workshops I've done. For sure. Gotta pull up a reference photo though.
Yeah, let's see. So what are you going to do a comic about? I don't know what I'm going to do yet. I need to look at this.
Oh yeah, I mean, to be fair, I planned this, so I have a little bit of an
That's okay.
fair advantage. So I ended up taking one of my students to the hospital, and it turned out we were pretty sure it was a non-emergency issue once she started talking about it more, but it was like really interesting because she had never been to an American hospital before. And like, so the doctors like interacting with like medical professionals, and also yeah, the experience was just really eye-opening, and she was like a really good sport, and like when she got a heated blanket she freaked out and like felt like
wow.
which was very funny. Yeah, it was actually kind of a good time. She's like, a lot of my students are super religious. So dude, is this anywhere? Where is that photo? Yeah, so a lot of my students are super religious, so I ended up playing app game with her about sorry, I'm looking, why didn't I have this pulled up, Anna? Yeah, I ended up playing a game with her about Bible studies. Like, you had levels about biblical knowledge, because apparently she knows a lot of it in her native tongue, but she doesn't know any of it really in English. So yeah, it was just like a really interesting night that lasted so long. But yeah, it was really eye-opening, and it was actually almost pleasant because she ended up being okay. So there we go. That's what I'm looking for. All right, you can't. We're not sharing my screen, right?
No, we see your paper.
Okay, cool. All right. Like, another thing that she did that I'm sure like a lot of people would have been really put off by this, but I thought was hilarious, was that we ended up taking hospital selfies. So like, you know, and then when she felt better after she got some like very basic medication, she ended up getting bored and doing TikToks, and I was like, okay, I think you're feeling better. I think we can go. But yeah, so like it was just like I'm doing a comic about that particular night. Like, the medical staff are used to, even though they're dealing with kids. So like I was kind of like irritated with how I had to like, well, I think people don't know how to advocate for themselves at the doctor anyway, but I was kind of irritated with like their lack of like empathy, or like just like, it didn't seem like they were used to a situation where they know how to use someone, that they know how to have a translator, right? They have translators for like literally like dozens of languages, and hers was included. But she also, but like, they're not used to someone that that seemingly knows English but then doesn't know words like vomit, right? Like, I had to translate things from vomit to throw up, like diarrhea had to be like loose poop, stuff like that, all this medical terminology. And it was such a learning experience that I realized that we are the Refugee Youth Project is actually run out of a state, is run out of Baltimore City Community College, and it has a nursing program. So I am going to have them at some point like visit some of the nursing students, and you know, a lot of nursing programs will have like a fake hospital on staff for various things, because I want them to like, and we'll like teach them a bit of medical terminology. Yeah, she just had never been to a hospital before, and like, and also unfortunately, Baltimore is such a Baltimore is like so not friendly to people that don't have cars. But she did, I have to tell them about that if you're a Medicaid patient, which I think 99, if not all 100% of our students are, um, uh, they will drive you to regular doctor's appointments for free.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, and I think that happened. That's actually available in a lot of places. I know it's available in Vermont. I don't know if I ever told you this, but when I was in grad school at CCS, I broke my drawing hand and I couldn't draw for 8 weeks. Well, I could draw. I mean, I barely was able to draw, but yeah, I broke my drawing hand. So I was going to the hospital a lot, and I always borrowed a car. And then at the very end, I found out that I could have just like gotten rides there and back because, yeah. But yeah, so a lot of states have that option. And I want to make sure that all my students are hooked up with that because like she is literally a 5-minute drive from this hospital, but like she doesn't like there's one car for the entire family. And yeah, so yeah. So it's just like it was a really interesting experience. And I think also the fact that I tend to know a lot more about hospitals, I think, than normal people because I go there so often for my own disability. So I was just happy to put that to use. But and then yeah, and then just like everything else, if I talk to these students from like I generally, if I have one-on-one time with these students for more than like an hour, they start asking me all my religious beliefs. And I'm like, you're going to have to learn that that's kind of a taboo topic, but I will tell you. But yeah, so because a lot of these students, they're fleeing their country because of ethnic reasons, but a lot of the ethnic and religious stuff overlaps. So like a lot of people are using like very devout faith in order to cope. And also it's also like they're like actually being oppressed as Christians versus people lying about it here. So
wow.
All right, so
I love how easily you draw, Anna.
it is, yeah, it
looks effortless.
well, I'm doing a little bit of effort, but yeah, thank you. I did honestly like my art got so much better because I got so burnt out from the book that I did Inktober for the one time and actually first time ever and actually completed it. And because I like actually got to draw for the first time in so long, like I really got to like mess around and find things that worked for me.
That's great.
Yeah.
Most of us, me included, we get really hung up on making the drawings look right. But it sounds like a daily practice of doing that every day really just help loosen you up and find comfort.
Yeah, and I also am a very big fan. I don't really believe in daily practices for like extended periods, but like Inktober definitely worked for me. All right, let me find. So let's do. Yeah. But this was one of my. I thought of this as a Inktober prompt at some point. Whoops, and I just messed that up. There you go. Okay, so let's see. On a lighter note, I could go on my very angry Mort Walker Industries rant if you'd like. Opposed to like me like talking about how amazing my students are, but actually like there is so much baggage there. Obviously. But I don't know if any of you are still reading the newspaper comics, but I do. And Mort Walker Industries. And the thing is that unlike, say, I really want to find some early I really want to find some early Family Circus, because I've seen once where like Dolly, like one of her characteristics is that she tattles on her dad, and there's a couple where she like tattles on him in the 60s for like getting wasted. Like they're supposed to be like, oh yeah, daddy drank like 6 cans of beer or whatever.
No, I've never seen that, really.
Whatever.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
So like there's and actually
Not
like
me.
we went to the university, we went to for our for our Valentine's Day one year, we got our Library of Congress cards because we're in Baltimore. So we went to the Library of Congress and we saw original Blondies like throughout the decades, and he really was great. Like I can't remember the name of the author of the original Blondie, but like he is a master, and it is amazing seeing the early stuff versus now. And but Mort Walker has never been good. And people talk about, I know he made the Emanata book that everyone likes to quote, even though it's a joke book. I mean, I used it in my last class. But like whoever is running that stuff now is like incredibly depressed, because with Beetle Bailey, every Sunday they talk about the general and his wife in a loveless marriage. And there's like often not even a punchline. It is just like the entire strip is just about how awful their marriage is, which is crazy. And then, but like High and Lois, I feel very bad for High because he works at some like terrible fake company that does nothing. And then he comes home to a absolutely miserable family that all secretly hates him, or sometimes doesn't secretly hate him. Like he'll try to like get together with his family and do activities, and they're like, barbecues are so stupid. And then he just barbecues alone in the sky or like in the stars at night. And it's just like, it's such a bummer. Yeah, it is. That's the thing, is like there's so many where there's no punchline except depression. And then I don't know, I can't remember if Lois is cousins or the sister of Beetle Bailey.
Yeah, cousin. Yeah, one or the other. Yeah, I forget.
Yeah. So like, occasionally they also like she'll send packages to Beetle or whatever. And those children are absolutely horrible. But yeah, so I just there is a I'm gonna have to start talking about this in a second, or else I'm gonna stop being able to write sample equals example. So yeah, this is a big thing I do with my students a lot, is that they know English, but they don't have a huge vocabulary. These kids also like speak like, some of them speak like 7 languages. Like we have real like polymaths in these like so many of my students are so phenomenal and talented, but because it's some regional dialect, they don't even count it. And I'm like, no, you are going to put that you speak 4 languages on your college application. Like you're not gonna just, I know you don't think it's a big deal. It's a big deal. But yeah, so that's a big thing, is like translating words down or explaining words. Let's see. Okay, so we ended up
diarrhea equals loose poo, urine equals pee, new terminology, vomit equals throw up, sample equals example. So was the idea that she was, once she was feeling better, she was posting on TikTok?
Yeah, well, first she started feeling better because she got Advil for the first time. She'd never taken a prescription Advil or Tylenol. Actually, it was Tylenol, I think. And she also got prescription. It's interesting because like her family knew how to treat these symptoms with like African ingredients, but they didn't know where to get them in America. So apparently her mother was like saving money to try to get some of those remedies. And I'm like, well, we have some stuff in the West. And So yeah, she couldn't believe how much better she felt. And I went through all of this rigmarole to get her drugs the next day because both of them ended up being over the counter. And she was very scared to take one of them. But when it worked so well, she was like, all right, I'll do both. But then you also have to explain, like, with Tylenol and Advil, you have to eat food, right? That's something that she would know. Um, and she's not a big fan of eating. So I like really had to be like, there's a cracker, just eat a cracker. But yeah, I got mad at a nurse because like one of the things that they recommended was like something to like a lot of teenagers deal with constipation. And um and she was about to shame her for it, but like my students have very healthy tastes. Like, I used to struggle with that because that would have been a good anyway, that would have been a good terminology, was constipation, because you didn't know what that meant. But like she was gonna shame her for, sorry, I don't want to get this out of the way. It's just a weird angle. Yeah, let's see if I can actually draw that versus, but yeah, so like they were like, well, teenagers deal with constipation because of their diet. And she was about to shame her for not eating well enough. And I was like, actually, this, she has really healthy eating. She doesn't have access to the healthiest food because 2 of her meals a day, if not 3, come from school lunch. And school lunch is like really hit or miss. But like, I cut that off so quick. I was so angry at this nurse. But yeah, so like, yeah, I don't know. And we're in Baltimore. Like the majority of this, we're in Baltimore in a bad area. This is Johns Hopkins, right? Like we're in Baltimore in a bad area. Like this is not the first time you've dealt with someone with school lunch. Like, I don't know. I don't know. It's just irritating. And it's one of those things. I think also they were very annoyed at me because I was bossy and because I wasn't the parent, even though I was legally allowed to take her there because I had permission from the parents.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But yeah, which is a whole thing too, is we had to get a translator to talk to her father. Oh, whoops, that was a dumb way to do this.
What's
Yeah,
that say there?
it's
Your
like the so the app would like be like level up when we did like, when I could name
oh,
from the Old Testament or whatever.
oh.
So I'm just making up what they actually said, but it was like they would be like they would like give you a psalm and be like godliness level 63 or whatever.
Wow. But that made her happy and feel good at the hospital, I presume.
Yeah, like this is definitely, and this is something where these, like, a lot of my students, I think people would like, and people that would consider themselves activists might be uncomfortable with a lot of their belief systems because they come from like very conservative like places, like conservative places that like the normal Americans don't even deal with like as a norm. So but I think if you meet them on their home turf, like a lot of it is they're introduced to more progressive American ideas the longer they're here. But also, like, I'm not one of those people that refuses to be friends or interact with people of different, like, beliefs just because it's a cool thing to do on the internet or whatever. It drives me absolutely crazy. So And they're also like, they're actually very accepting, considering like, yeah, they're very accepting about like everyone deserves a home, like, but at the same time, I am going to hell because I am a Jew, and you're just like, all right, whatever. So that is what it is. Like, either they'll grow out of that or they won't. It's fine. They're lovely people that will contribute a lot of good stuff to society. And all right, so. Yeah, we definitely had a couple moments where I know I can't like relate to the average people. Like I think my students are very different than like normal or like American born and raised students. Like, there's I think like I think they're way more serious about school because most of them come from places where in order to get an education of any kind, even elementary school, you had to pay for it. So like all these students, even if they're not doing well in school, they're taking it very seriously. Like, yeah, I don't have a lot of the problems that like teacher life on TikTok is like complaining about. But I'm also dealing with other stuff too. Like, yeah, we had a student that was in an English class, and she did not speak English very well, but it was like they needed this one class in order to graduate, and she's kind of pushed through the system, which would be bad in theory, except she's going to be attending Baltimore City Community College, where she can learn more English for free through a program that the mayor started called the Merit Scholarship Program. And like students that qualify can go get a what would you call a 2-year degree? I forgot what those are called. Associate degree for free. The only thing you have to pay for is the books. But because she's going to take additional ESOL classes, I was like, yeah, it's kind of damning of the system that you got through this far when you don't know much English, but like we're going to take care of you, so it'll be fine. But they had, so like you were supposed to write an essay about like some kind of social justice movement that's going on. So like all these topics were like racism and sexism in America and gender studies and all sorts of things like that. And it was hard. I had to get someone else to explain it to her because like I didn't know how to handle that when I was like, well, they're asking you to write about racism in America. And she's like, America doesn't have racism, because she came from somewhere that literally tried to kill her. And now she's in a majority Black city. So like, and if she's being treated poorly, it's not because of her race, it's because of other stuff. And like also there's so many microaggressions that like they totally don't get because they're used to so much worse things, right? I am not the one to have this convo with you. Let me get someone else that's a little more experienced. So yeah. But
what country are they coming from?
So this student is from the Dominican Republic of the Congo and speaks Swahili and a bunch of other languages. That student was from Eritrea, but they speak a language that a lot of the Eritrean students speak multiple languages, including Amharic. So like if you go to an Ethiopian restaurant, you are going to be seeing Amharic on like the walls and stuff. Eritrea is right next to Ethiopia. They're like side by side. And they speak a lot of the same languages and stuff. But she knew a regional dialect that's so small that Google Translate doesn't even have any options for it. It's called Afar. And so generally, when I was helping her, I would have to have the help of another student that would translate on, like, I would ask them what to say, and then they'd have to translate if they knew Afar. The one where that particular essay she was asking for, like, he remembered Afar kinda, but hadn't spoken it in so long that like, but he was mostly actually known for, he mostly knew Amharic. So like he had to like, they kind of had to like meet in the middle with like vague translations. And I was like, this is too complicated a subject. But then we actually had an actual ESOL teacher that was able to come in and get it done, like no problem.
Cool.
Yeah, that is the thing, is like, I don't have a lot of formal training. I did AmeriCorps last year, and then I was hired on by RYP, and I'm so like, I kind of just got all my experience in the classroom.
Yeah.
Yeah, but dude, we got any pens I'm gonna want to use? All right, let's see.
Meanwhile, should we start like
Oh,
letting you know that they can start to share soon? I want to know. I want to see you finish it, Anna. But
you sure? Okay, because I can
well,
totally stop. Okay.
also, I just I just tell people that like they can start wrapping up and sharing if they have some.
Yeah, and you can also go, if you do something about a child that is in your household, go ask them permission for sharing it. If
And
you didn't
maybe
anonymize them. Yeah,
sometimes we have adults and kids on the same screen, so maybe.
that's, yes, I can see some of that. So that's fine.
Oh,
But
hey, Anna, do you have
yes,
time to raise your Zoom hand? It's usually on the bottom.
me?
Yeah, because if
Where,
you do that, yeah, there you go. And actually, then maybe hopefully it won't automatically lower it like the bot that it is. That way, you'll stay high up in the
oh, cool,
group.
cool, 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 cool. Okay, okay. Um, I gotcha. Dude, where are my thicker pens? This is ridiculous.
Well, we were
Um,
all marveling at watching you fill in that sweater all black. Although
oh
I see
man,
how
such a bad.
that tanked that marker though.
Dude, this marker has been, I got these new markers because I had these markers. These are the Faber-Castell Pitt
Oh yeah.
markers, and I had them for like, I might have gotten these in high school, and then I finally started using them, and it is unbelievable how well they hold up. How small is what? What is the size? This doesn't help me. All right,
Right.
usually it's a wider variety, but let's see.
And while you do that, I'm going to be a pain. This is going to be real pain. I'm going to ask you to hold your Zoom hand up again, and then
Yeah.
watch it because it'll start to say, "You look like you're done talking. Do you want us to lower your hand?" And then you got to hit cancel.
Oh, cancel. Got it. That's
I
not
can't
big.
believe it does that. And it's so far that is my least favorite AI thing.
It's like
Okay.
a new feature.
Yeah, it's a new
'Cause
feature.
I'm on Zoom meetings all the time, but I never talk because
Right.
it's low on the corporate totem pole.
Let's see what this last picture is. So we've
Oh.
got Judith ready to share. We'll get a couple more people lined up. So if you guys are finishing your comics, I know some of you are doing kid comics. So if you are getting yours ready, we'd love to see it. Oh, Christina says, my school just had picture day.
Oh yeah. I'm debating making a zine of the comics, because if you go to my social media, you can see a lot of them, but I definitely want to make some fine art pieces about certain students. And there's this one family in particular. I showed you Gaga, the fashion designer, but like that family dress is so cool. And I took photos of her older sister's Nene's outfits like every single day of the summer, and I want to do like a fine art piece about those outfits.
oh,
For
that sounds
sure.
great.
Yeah. Very like in the style of where Robert Crumb was just doing like illustrations of Aline Crumb in designer dresses. I want to do something like that,
Very
except
cool.
not as ogling.
You should get in touch with Lauren Weinstein, who is doing similar work with people displaced from other countries, doing comic book stories. I'll put you in touch after
That
that.
would be so cool. I'm a huge fan of hers.
Her comic.
She was on what was it, girl.com?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, I was a child reading her work at girl.com. And I like, yeah, I love her stuff. She just, that zine she did, about her child too, and I can't remember the gender of the kid, but like, yeah, the one where she did about like raising a kid, that she did with, oh, what is that publisher? They're the fancy publisher that's no longer around, and they have Youth in Decline. Her Youth in Decline zine is fantastic.
Oh yeah, oh that is beautiful. Well, wait,
Yeah.
no, I'm thinking of the one that she did with the one called Frontier.
Oh, that's what yeah, Youth in Decline is the publisher of Frontier. So
Okay.
it's
Oh,
one of their
okay.
series. Yeah, so we're talking about the thing.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
And Sarah in the chat is reminiscing about girl.com too. Yeah, Lauren was on that. And so I actually put Lauren's book in the chat. So Anna, do you want to take a look? Wait, what's this last thing you're drawing? Let's see.
Almost done, but I have to show whoever just geeked out about girl.com is that I got some of the books
look
from girl.com, and I also have her collection, but that's not as interesting as these. Like, I had to buy these for like $1, but
a guide to your body and your life. Is that what it said?
Yeah, so it's a whole new approach to your body
life.
and life as a girl. And then this is all about like taking care of yourself, but also like the fashion section where you can do different kinds of fashion and be like a vamp girl or a cave queen or whatever.
Oh my God, I think my daughter needs that.
Yeah, very, very nostalgic. So
all right. So wait, actually, you tell us what that last thing is.
So, oh man, it is her. She set up. I realized I was looking down for like 5. I don't know. I started looking down for a few minutes to like actually draw my Inktober, and then I sat back up, and she was no longer sleeping. She was recording TikTok dances, and I said, "Okay, so I think you're fine, and let's see if we can get you discharged." And yeah, it was like a totally routine thing, but she hadn't gotten medical. She'd never been like to a doctor for it, so yeah.
Cool. Okay, you want to see some work?
Let's see what other people do. Yes.
So we'll start with Judith. We'll go to Nancy, Linda, and Sarah. Welcome, everybody. All right, Judith is unmuted. Spotlight. There we go.
So I did one for tonight, and I have one by coincidence, the cartoon class I take with Amy Kurzweil. We did children a little bit ago. So anyway, the one for today is, it's a little girl pulling on her mom's skirt. I kind of made it a little old fashioned. I don't think anybody dresses like this anymore, not me anyway. And she is saying, where do babies come from? Why is that man doing that? Why did grandma die? And it's supposed to be, I didn't have time to do it. It's supposed to be in a public place.
Yes. This drawing is unreal. This is such a good drawing.
This little girl is now 45 years old.
I gotcha.
I have her permission to draw her. The one that I did in Amy's class was based on a drawing that I had done of my daughter when she was 2. She had a thing called Little Clang that she used to ride on. And I did a drawing of it, and I found a Xerox of the drawing, and I put in the thought is, this is going to have to do until I learn to drive.
I love it.
Like one of my favorite things is thinking about kids. We think that they're, unformed children, but they are thinking totally. Anyway, so that's the one.
These are fantastic.
Thank you.
You should definitely consider
baby of the family. So,
did you draw the first one directly, like without?
Yes, with a pencil. I have this really soft pencil that looks dark and good.
You should consider making finished work in that medium, because that is a phenomenal drawing. So good.
Thank you. I love pencil. I'm kind of like, I can't get into, what is it called? Procreate, all those kinds of online things. I'm sorry, I feel really bad about it, but
if your mine's looking like that, you don't have to edit much. Yeah.
Anyway, thank you so much. I really enjoyed watching you work. That was great.
Thank you.
Thanks, Judith. All right, we'll go to Nancy next, and then Linda, then Sarah. Here we go.
Hey. And lower hand. Okay. Oh, all right. So, this is my grandson actually, and he came over and he wanted to play with my puppy, and he said, "Oh, can I pet, Nikki?" And I said, "Okay, but we're teaching her to sit because we don't want her to jump on people." So, I mean, he was amazing with teaching her to sit. He did the hand signal right away, and Nikki understood him, and then he was like over it, like so fast. He walked away from her, and she was like, "Hey, wait, what?"
Oh no.
Because mostly people are more like, "Oh, cushy, cushy, cute puppy."
Yeah, right.
And he was just like, "Okay, she's sat. I petted her. It's done, right?"
Oh no.
And then he asks, "Can we go play outside?" And so they go outside, and he jumps on the trampoline and runs around the trampoline, and she runs around underneath it and beside it and jumps up and down on the ground. And then he's like, "Oh yeah, you can I'll chase you. You can chase me. I'll throw the ball."
Oh,
And
so cute.
because I drew this with marker, and I had to stick in the middle, the net result was then Nikki didn't want to play anymore. And he was like, "Grandma, Nikki's she doesn't want to play." So
I love it.
it's
Such a good drawing of Nikki. What breed is Nikki?
she is a pit ski. She's a pit bull mixed with a husky.
Oh wow, that's a hyper dog. Your son really
She has boundless
really
energy, yes.
yeah.
But she met someone who can wear her out completely.
Exactly, yeah.
Thanks, Nancy. We'll go to Linda
Sure.
next.
Well, hello. I did our time at the gravel pit, and the child is me.
I love
We
it.
would get inside of a telephone wire spool that had a couple slats knocked out of it, and then push each other off into the gravel pit. And it was terrifying and really fun.
I would love to have done that as a kid. I would have broken every bone in my body. Wow.
Right.
That
I
was
can't
so much
believe
fun.
we made it through, and all the
Yep.
nails inside of it too. It's like,
Oh my God.
how come we are still here? But here I am.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Super
That's great. And I love the layout too. The layout's really well done. This is fabulous.
Thank you.
Thanks, Linda. I forgot about those big spools.
Yeah. Good tables too.
Yeah.
I'm
go to Sarah next.
so
Thank you, Linda.
jealous. Yeah.
I was thinking about how like kids draw home, like you draw the idea of home or the idea of like your family all in a line like this. So like I don't remember very much like making drawings like this, which is like the conventional way that kids draw their family. I did not ask my sister's permission to put stink lines on her head. Sorry for violating that rule. But yeah, as much as I remember drawings like this, so like this is a picture of our backyard, and for some reason as a kid I drew this over and over, and I probably still have pictures of this, but I don't have any pictures of any drawings that I made like this. And sometimes I wonder like, oh, what if I made a drawing like that now? How would that be different? But I didn't get to doing that.
It's also something worth exploring, is like your relationship to that space. Like there must have been something about that space that you drew over and over and over again. Like there must have been an interest there, and why you had that interest in your relationship to it now.
Yeah, I mean, I think it ties into like the place where I grew up. I was more attached, I guess, to the scenery than to the people there.
Yeah, and I think that'd be like something you could totally expand on. But yeah, that's fascinating. That's really, really cool. I do like the stink lines. I will let it slide.
Thanks, Lena.
Sarah, I love how the yard looked like waves.
Yeah. The trees, right? The pine trees.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna go to Eli next. Here we go. Thanks, Sarah.
Hi.
Hi,
It's
Eli.
a fun exercise. When I moved into the house I live in now, which is this old Victorian on a creepy, dark, tree-covered hillside. It was a day before Halloween, night before Halloween. I was standing on my porch, and these two little girls just like came out of the woods. They were probably like 10, and I'd never ever seen them before. And I just heard them say, "Hey, mister, I love your Halloween decorations." And I was like, where is that coming from? And I see these two little figures on the hillside, which is so steep. Like I've tried to walk up it before, and I cannot. It's very hard. You have to basically crawl up the hill. But they were just like prancing around over there. And I had a little conversation with them and asked how they were doing. And who they were, and they told me what their names were, and then they looked at each other and they said, "We've been friends practically forever." And they said it in this really weird, spooky voice, and then they giggled and like ran off into the forest. And I've never seen them again since. Like, that's the one night right before Halloween. And so I still think that I might have spoken to some little ghost children in the night. So I think about them every Halloween. I wonder if they'll ever come back and say hello again, and if they'll be older or if they'll be the same age.
Oh, great. I'm loving the typography too for forever.
I know.
That's great. I'm loving it.
Thank you.
Wow. That's a great story. Thanks, Eli. All right. Jackie, I assume, has gotten permission. So let's find out.
This is a bit wordy, so just bear with me. There was just a ridiculous amount of work involved in getting my daughter to say anything, and it's like that, it was kind of heartbreaking to see the other kids her age zoom past her verbally. She's I got look, I have a blue car and a red car, and she would point to this calendar. It was like a B. Clibben calendar that I had on the wall, and she would just thumb through it and not really say anything, like over and over again. But then one day, this happened. She just said, like, "Here comes the marching band," like in the clearest English.
Nice.
So that was her, I guess, when she was about 4.
Wow.
Yeah. I also actually didn't talk till I was like 4 or 5. I have speech processing issues.
Okay.
But yeah, this is great. I love it. Yeah. But I like it's like your work probably really paid off, and your patience with it too, even though it was like hard to deal with.
She's still not super verbal, but probably more than she would be if I hadn't stayed home and pressed her and taken her all the therapies and everything. So
Right.
But thank you for the compliment.
Thanks so much, Jackie.
You're welcome.
All right. We go to Christina next, and then Michaela, and then Edgar.
Hello. So Anna, I have worked with all the kids that you described yourself working with. I live in Seattle. I just finished working at a K-8 Title I school, and I loved the middle schoolers. And like you said, a lot of people were scared of the middle schoolers, but I loved them because they could be 5 years old 1 minute and 35 years old the next minute, and then they would just flip right back.
Right.
And one of my favorite things to do was recess, and trying to get those middle schoolers to go back into the building after their lunch recess, which is only 15 minutes long. And they basically just kind of, some of them run around the entire time, and most of them stand around looking at their phones,
They have a 15-minute recess?
They have 15 minutes outside after their lunch.
Oh, that's a bummer. Okay. Yeah.
If anybody needs to get their yayas out, it's 12-year-olds. But I had this one interaction with these 2 middle school boys who were always too cool for school and always doing all the posing and the bravado with all their buddies. And so this is them. They're always late coming in from recess. And so I tell them they've got to hustle. So they decide to race.
Oh, nice.
And so the one in the back falls down, and then the one in the front turns around to see what just happened, and then he wipes out too. Then they're both on the ground dying. Because they've skinned their palms.
Oh no.
And their knees, and there's no blood. But
there you go. Okay.
And just like I'm like, are you serious? Get up! Oh, I can't get up. I'm like, get up,
So
we'll go to the
funny.
nurse, we'll wash the hands, you'll be all fine. And then they're putting it under the cold water. You said you'd make this feel better. I'm like, no, we're cleaning them off. We'll get you Band-Aids. You'll be fine.
Yeah, right.
And then they stop and they look at me and I'm like, I'm laughing.
Right, of course.
Why are you laughing at us? I said, because you're funny.
Yeah, right.
I said, doesn't your mom say I wouldn't tease you if I didn't love you? And they're like, yeah, wait.
Oh, that's so
Sorry.
cute.
It wasn't insipid. It was really cute. It's like, wait,
No,
you love us? Like
that was
this
not
57-year-old
insipid.
white lady is saying that she likes us.
Yeah, no,
And I
that was
said,
not
well,
insipid.
every alternate Tuesday, yes.
No,
But
that's
it was
adorable.
really sweet. It was, because their buddies were gone.
Yeah,
And so it was just the two of them and they let their guards down and it was
Right.
hilarious. Like, we're dying.
yeah, right. So no, that's a wonderful comic. That is a wonderful comic. It reminds me of my niece once genuinely got hurt and once fake got hurt. And the way that you could tell was that my brother waited 2 beats where he's like, no reaction. He's like, how's it? He's like, you doing okay? And the time she was faking because she's on the floor, she's like, ah, and then he just waits and he goes, you doing okay? And she's like, yeah, I'm fine. Like she's 4 or whatever. And then the second time it was like still crying. And then we immediately swoop in and do the parenting thing. But no, that's a wonderful story. Yeah. About letting your guard down because none of the buddies are around. That's great.
Yeah. Thank you.
Fabulous, Christina. Thank you. We'll go to Michaela. And also Jen is also in Seattle and is in the chat saying hello.
Hi.
Michaela.
Am I unmuted? Yeah. So I have a drawing, a series of drawings about a sketchbook I got when I was 6 years old. And it was a heavy linen bound sketchbook. In German, it was called Krickel-Krackelbuch. It was a sort of anti-authoritarian sketchbook. That would probably take too long to explain, but the very idea of an expensive sketchbook for a young child made my mom lock it up most of the time. And so I only got to draw in it on holidays. So all the first drawings are Christmas trees and Easter bunnies and eggs. And then after a while, though, I got to draw in it more often. And so on the second page here, you see I drew typical kid stuff, house, and weird universes. And then my Oma, which is, I'm adopted, but that's the word for grandma in German. My Oma gave me this crucial bit of she gave me a prompt, basically.
Yeah.
And so what I started drawing, like this is Boy with a Clover, which was a story that I read, and Greek and Roman gods. And the prompt that she gave me was draw what you read about.
Oh, wow.
And it just blew my mind. And even nowadays, when I don't know what to draw, I'm like, okay, what did I read about? Whether it's on Twitter or in an academic book. And it just made me so happy. And the book has a long, it was lost to me for a while, and then I received it back about 10 years ago, and it was the most amazing thing.
Yeah.
Because although it was locked up for me, the weird thing is that way at least I have all those drawings.
Yeah.
So it's like the whole thing. So my beloved Krickel-Krackelbuch, here's a close-up of that.
When did you get this? What year was it a gift?
1968.
That's amazing.
I'm old as mud, in other words.
I love this.
But I love this book, and so I have it now after many decades of absence.
Oh, wow. That's so cool.
But my grandma, that was brilliant advice.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. This was a lovely workshop as usual. Thank you.
I am like blown away by all these comics.
Yeah.
I am in awe, Usually there's a handful, but right now everybody is just crushing it. Okay.
I'm glad we managed to amaze you.
Well, thank you, Tom, for calling on me.
Yeah,
and
sure.
Thank you, Anna, for the inspiration. Let me show you what I've got today. I titled it My Experiences as a Kid.
Love
and when I was 3 years old, in 1957, I was on television with Captain Kangaroo.
My mother got to do something like that.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah. Tell me.
Well, so she did it with Howdy Doody.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I think yeah, I want to hear your story. Like, she just talks about that being like one of the coolest things she ever got to do, and it was around the same age for her.
Was she in the peanut gallery?
Yes, I believe so. I believe she just like got called on. Like, yeah.
Oh, that's very cool. Well, that video image may exist. But anyway, so I'm down in a hotel in Washington, D.C. This is not his show. He's doing a telethon. And there I am with my short pants with the side zipper halfway down, and my dad's behind me. And so I say to Captain Kangaroo, he's very nice, and I say, "Can I play those drums?" Because there was drums in the ballroom. And he says, "Oh, I'm sorry, they're not ours."
Oh,
well, anyway, for years I searched for film or videotape of the telethon at the hotel, only to discover a photo in our Russell family photo album, including the drum set. So everything I remembered was true.
Nice.
And then when I was 9 years old in November 1963, my family got invited to the White House by President and Mrs. Kennedy to watch the Black Watch Pipe and Drum Corps. And here I am with my mom, and there's President Kennedy. He's over there talking with a bunch of kids. And I say, "Mom, there's President Kennedy. Can I go get his autograph?" And my mother said, "That wouldn't be considered proper." And my dad asked the Secret Service if we could get the engraved invitation back. And they said, "Sure, everybody wants them." It arrived the day he was assassinated.
Oh, God.
My mother could have kicked herself for not letting me walk over to the president.
Right.
And then finally, at age 11 in 1965, here I am swimming in Fishing Creek in Rock Hill, South Carolina, with my brother Fraser and a number of Southern cousins, and my adult cousin Harvey is standing on the bank, but with a shotgun. And I'm thinking, why does he have a shotgun? Well, anyway, then 6 feet from me, the water explodes with a shotgun blast, and I say, "Why? What?" And cousin Harvey saw a water moccasin swimming towards us. I'm so glad Harvey was there. So anyway, to be continued. But thank you for the inspiration.
So you're from DC? Because I'm also from DC.
Yes, I am. I grew up in Burleith, which is right next to Georgetown.
Oh, I love. Yeah.
Yeah. Where were you in DC?
So I was in between Friendship Heights and Tenleytown, but I went to Duke Ellington, which is in Georgetown. So I spent a lot of time in Georgetown as well.
Oh, absolutely. Well, you're a youngster because it used to be Western High School.
I remember.
So you became a Fame kid. That's fabulous, because I
love this. Yes, there would be photos of the Western alum still like hung up in various parts of the school.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. So like, I think one of you guys became an astronaut because that was still up when I was going to school in the 2000s.
Oh, cool. Well, Gloria Steinem was a graduate of Western, or at least she attended there for a couple of years.
My mother's going to lose her mind. Okay, yes, that's
right. You can join the Western Ellington Alumni Association if you're not already a member.
I do. I guess I need to do that. Yes,
yeah, absolutely.
Your marching orders, Anna.
I know.
Yes, that's right. That's right. I'll see you there sometime.
It's done. Like it will happen.
Oh, excellent, excellent. Did you sit in the big chair? The big green chair?
You're not supposed to. So there's for everyone, there's a giant lawn chair that was made by a bunch of, was that Georgetown? It was like Georgetown, like the college.
Really?
A giant green chair, lawn chair that you're not allowed to sit on, but it's like literally the size, it's bigger. It's like, it's the size of like this apartment. It's huge. And you're not allowed to sit on there, but like everybody did. As when you were in class, you had to go sit on the chair. And yeah. Oh my goodness. That's great.
Oh,
That's
funny.
great.
Well, thank you, and thank you for the inspiration. I'm glad to know the connection. My dad went there too in
Oh,
the
wow.
40s, and he has great stories too.
Oh, wow.
So interesting.
That's so cool.
Thanks,
That's so
Edgar.
cool.
You bet. Thank
Thanks.
you.
Okay, we've got 3 more: Tiger Lily, Jen Spence, and
Fine. Sorry, my dog is free. My dog is yelling at me.
hold on here. We need Tiger Lily to come. Let's see.
She's asking, or they're asking to go last.
Oh, go last. Okay, sure. Jen, we will go to Jen Spence and then Mishka. Hi, Jen. Here we go.
Unmute myself. And let me make myself a little bit bigger so I can see. I had my Hi, good evening. By the way, my best friend went to Duke Ellington back in the 80s.
Cool.
She went for dance.
Oh, nice, nice, nice.
Yeah. There's a jazz artist, Michelle Nadegacello, whose name I just butchered, who was also there at the same time.
Very cool.
Never heard her.
Yeah.
So I don't know what it is about Friday Night Comics, but the topics always bring up like these very, very deep things with me. So a trigger warning, this is a pretty deep one. Okay, so this is the whole thing. It's about me. So no permission needed.
Right, no
First
permission
one
needed.
was when I was 10, my parents got me a puppy, a miniature schnauzer. Mom named her Jiffy. I acted silly with her. I loved her so much. Because she was mine, I had to feed, walk, paper train, and bathe her. I was the one that took her to obedience school. So that's that. One time in a fit of rage after an interaction with my parents, I kicked her on our walk. I remember her eyes and the look of betrayal. I'm not evil. I was a child not allowed to express anger, and I did what my parents and bullies did to me. I took it out on someone more powerless. I never did it again. She was hit by a car when she was almost 3. I still pray for forgiveness. Sorry.
It's
I wish
okay.
I had more uplifting stuff to share.
No, it's totally fine. I just have a thing about dogs. But no, that was fabulous. It's also like, it's true. That is a thing, because I did that too when I got bullied. So I started taking it out on my dog, and it was like one of the worst things I ever did. Like, that's great. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm sorry I made you cry.
No, it's fine. It's great.
Thanks, Jen. Okay, we'll go to Mishka. In the
Hi.
dark. I didn't know
It's
you.
very dark.
California?
I'm in California, but there's no light on in this room.
It's always
It,
sunny.
it was light outside and now it's not anymore because I've been staring. I'm gonna share a screen, then you don't have to look at me in the dark.
Oh, let me give you that option. Hang on a sec. Okay, go for it.
Okay, thank you. All right, this is about Puck's scar. Can you see it?
Mhm.
Okay, but now I can't read it. Okay. So I'm Auntie M here, and I asked Puck, "Hey, want a race?" And he says, "Yes." And there are his parents, and they say, "Go, Puck, go."
No.
And then I think, this kid's fast. I'm so tired already. I was like, "Hey, Puck, wasn't that our finish line?" And he says, "No, up there." Wait. Oh, wait. Oh, wait. What am I doing? Okay. What? Why? How? Are you in front of me now? Ah!
Oh no.
Oh my God. Oh my goodness, I fell on Puck.
What?
And then he says,
"Oh no."
And then his parents come over. Like, they kind of ran over, but they were super calm.
Yeah,
and here
right.
I am. I'm like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, there's so much blood. Should we call 911? No, we can take him. So they just get into their car. And then, like, I have to go to the hospital, right?
Yeah.
Like, I've destroyed their beautiful child. I'm so afraid to go in. What will I see? And then they're like, don't worry. They were so radiant. It was so much
Radiant.
and they were like, this was so much fun. And then this 3-year-old, he's like, they use super glue.
I love it. There you go.
And 20 years later now, he's like, hey, look, here's my little memory of you, Michelle.
Oh, that's so cute. And the reason they were so calm is because they did it like 20 times before. They did it like hundreds of times before where they
No, this is this first time their child yielded massive amounts of blood from his head. But
no, I mean like I'm sure when you're raising a small child, you accidentally hurt them. Like, so
on top of their child.
So funny.
Yeah.
Oh man, Misha, thanks. Okay, we're gonna go to Tiger Lily now. Let's see if she's ready. And they are ready here.
Hi.
Oh, let's see. You're not spotlight yet. Oh, I'm not sure what's going on.
What the heck?
Spotlighting isn't working for me. I don't know why. But you can share. Is she there?
Your camera on?
Can you hear
Audio
me?
on?
We can
Yes.
hear you, but we
Okay.
can't see your camera.
So I have my camera turned on my screen, but
Oh.
it's doing something weird. There's like a yield sign next to the video.
Oh, a yield sign. Oh,
Never seen a yield sign.
yeah, I have no idea.
Maybe that's why it's
Something weird is happening.
yeah, maybe that's why it's not letting you on your end be spotlit.
Yep.
Oh,
Let's
You
try.
gotcha.
I turned it off.
Yeah, we can see your avatar, but we can't see you.
There?
nope,
No.
still dark.
Ah. Okay, well, I don't know what to do because, like,
I'm sorry. Do you think if you leave and come back in, that'll help?
I don't know. Maybe. Yeah, I can try that.
Yeah, try that really quick. Otherwise, yeah.
Oh, it'll have to be really quick because I think, well, I'm gonna spotlight you again, Anna. We'll see if they come back, but I'm not too sure. Anyway, Anna, wow. This was awesome.
Oh, I appreciate it.
You got so
I
many
was
beautiful
nervous about your
stories.
classes.
Oh.
Yeah, no, these are amazing.
You got so many great stories, and some about people's own childhoods, you know, and just great little observational bits.
Mhm.
And I love when you know, we always get a mixture of sad and happy and things like that, but there's always usually a couple surprises and just like, you know, you were invited to John F. Kennedy's house. Like, why were you invited? You know, you never know. And things like that always pop up. You know, there's Edgar, for instance. And I like that, like 2 or 3 people are working with K through 12 people or kids, you know, and that's pretty interesting too. Anyway, sort of filling time waiting for Tiger Lily to come back, but I don't think they're coming back. So anyway, Anna, I really, really appreciate both what you're doing with these kids. It's really profound, but also coming in and taking what you've learned with them and saying, I'm gonna help everybody tell a story about kids, but in an empathic way, in a kind way, in a celebratory way, right? I really appreciate that. And I think that's a lesson that could be a lot longer. We could go into that space a lot longer and like tell more stories.
I would definitely do 20 stories about children that I am irritated by as well. But I decided, you know, it's not really like great, like to dwell on that.
Right. Okay. Well, all right. Anyway, no, it was good to be in that positive space where we're here to celebrate kids, no matter how much they annoy us, and really honor who they are in this time, which is hard. And you know, your kids speaking 7 languages or whatever. I mean, they're just full of so
my
much potential.
students are the most amazing ever. I'm sorry to like all the other K through 12 like teachers here. My students are the best students.
Okay, I'm going to ask everybody to unmute. We'll give you a round of applause and we'll say thank you. And also thank you. And also, Anna, you're coming back actually in like 5 weeks or something. I forget the date, but we've got a
I'm
plan.
coming back really soon.
Yeah, with another. Awesome. All right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Anna.
Thank you.
Thank you, Anna.
Tom.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you.
Lots
We'll
of
see you
fun.
next
Thank
week.
you, everyone.
Ciao,
With
bella.
Mara and
All right.
Anna, keep working on that book. Keep relettering that book. Wait for it. Well, all right.
I
Sorry.
have to find a new publisher. That's
All right. Well,
Mm.
text me. We'll figure it
Good
out.
luck with
You're
that.
very
Bye.
sweet. All right. All right. Bye.